for NBA basketball on 2K Sports. This is Kevin Harlan with Steve Kerr, Clark Kellogg, and Doris Burke. Now a chance to check out tonight's starting lineups. First, for Houston, manning the backcourt, Jeremy Lin along with James Harden. And it's center, the most dominant physical presence in the NBA, the elite defensive big man, Dwight Howard. Then there's Chandler Parsons, and it's Ashik in at the 4 spot. And looking at the Knicks, Felton is out there with Iman Shumpert. And in the middle, the 2012 Defensive Player of the Year, 7'1" rebounder, shot blocker, and leader Tyson Chandler. Then it's Anthony, and it's Bargnani in at the 4 spot. Now here's Felton. Bargnani is screen on Lin. And 2 free throws coming up as he misses that one, drawing the whistle and a lot of contact there.
In his return to New York, I tell you, Raymond Felton looked to have his best season yet as a pro. He came in and made plays and filled the void left at the point guard spot for the Knicks.
The Knicks shooting their first free throws of the game.
Yeah, basically a middle-of-the-road type free throw shooting team, about 76% a year ago.
And for Felton, I guess just something in the water in New York, huh, Stevie? He's played his best basketball in the big city.
Yeah, he had a good run there several years back before he was traded to Denver as part of that Carmelo Anthony trade. And now that he's back in New York, Felton once again having a terrific impact on that team.
You know, the Knicks got off to a fast start, but when you employ as many old bodies as they did last year, it's hard to sustain the level of play you need over the course of a full season. It's one reason they started to falter a bit late in the year.
Here's Felton. After the made shot from Parsons, Shumpert, rebounded by Howard.
If they could end every possession with that shot, they'd be happy. 9 times out of 10, that's an easy layup for them.
Ashik, the pass to Parsons. Here's Lin. Stolen by Bargnani. And now Felton running the floor all by himself. Hammers it in after taking it the length of the floor.
Straight to the bucket with a nice head of steam.
Well, no reason to slow it down when there's nothing in the way.
And Clark, you said the Knicks did hit that lull last season right after the All-Star break into early March. But Steve, when the vets saw the finish line in sight, they picked up their play and got back in it.
That's right. They won 13 games in a row late in the season, catapulting themselves back into the top tier of teams in the East, and let everyone know that they would not be exiting the playoffs early. That really was the start of that run.
The Knicks have gone 1 of 3 from the field to start this one so far. A moment to check in with Doris Burke. Doris?
Well, Kevin McHale gave me a few minutes to catch up with him. He said that they will be focusing a lot of their defensive effort into slowing down Carmelo Anthony. I asked him for specifics, and he said, Melo is such a dynamic player, there really isn't any single thing we'll do that will be the answer. Instead, we're just going to throw everything we have at him and see how he handles it. Guys?
Thanks, Doris. Shumpert, no good.
That's the kind of defense required when he's got the ball near the hoop. They were right in his face.
Harden dishes to Ashik. Pass to Howard. So he gets the whistle. Contact on the way up and 2 shots coming up.
And for Dwight Howard last season, no doubt injuries held him back. But I've got to give him credit. I mean, he still led the league in rebounding with over 12 a game. Remarkable.
And for Howard, averages of 17 and 12. Not bad at the center position.
Yeah, but we're used to seeing him get kind of, 23 and 14. So, Dwight has worked hard to try to get back to 100%. When he's right, he is the best center in the NBA, but when he's right is the key phrase there. He's far too tentative in the paint, and even more so when the defender is up tight on him like that time.
A nice shot by Lin. And just under 2.5 minutes elapsed here in the first. Felton against Lin. Chandler down low, using his post moves to get the 2 points. Rockets trail by 3. In low to Howard. From 7. Takes it into the teeth of the D and converts the layup. Howard's got his first points of the game.
Tell you what, he takes a lot of punishment inside. When Howard gets the ball in deep, defenses are looking to foul him hard because of his difficulties at the free throw line.
And he's a devastating finisher when you let him power it up to throw it down. He's a former dunk contest champ, Steve, so you give him a chance to do that, he'll make you part of his highlight reel.
Now Shumpert after the missed three from Bargnani. Felton. And here's Anthony from the arc. James Harden with the rebound. First quarter of action, just under 3.5 minutes played. Taken away by Anthony. Right side, Felton. And there's the call on Howard. That is his first foul of the game.
Oh, yeah, he had not established position.
You know, I prefer the refs to whistle with a block when in doubt. I thought that was a good call there.
Houston making some changes. Smith checked in for Howard. Monte Yunus comes in for Omer Asher. And it's Garcia in for Chandler Parsons. Smith for three. That is good. Smith's got his first bucket of the game, and he's on the board for three.
Tell you what, you got to give the Houston Rockets a lot of credit, guys. After losing their franchise players to injury and age back in '09, they've managed to rebuild this team without tanking for lottery picks or going all the way to the bottom of the heap. Very impressive.
The shot by Anthony, no good. Rockets trail by 4. Inside, here's Harden. It's good. The assist that time from Smith.
Another nice bucket down low. They've really been able to work the ball into the post effectively so far.
Yeah, I think that could really set things up well the rest of the game. Pound the ball inside and then let your perimeter players play off your bigs.
Now here's Stoudemire. Felton kicks to Smith. And the Knicks hit again from deep. And for the Rockets, they've been very shrewd acquiring undervalued players, trading for draft picks. Steve all in the hopes of swinging big trades for superstars.
Well, and then when they acquired James Harden, they finally got a cornerstone player. Now all of a sudden you throw in Dwight Howard, you've got another foundational player. So all these years of tinkering and trading and moving picks and moving players, it's finally paid off, and now he's got the team he was hoping to put together.
And here's World Peace following the three from Beverly.
I'll tell you what, until this defense gets out and defends the three-point line, I mean, it's going to be a parade.
Yeah, we've already seen 3 in a row from out there.
Boy, that was way behind the line. Now, he can make that at times.
He certainly is one of the guys that can actually do it from there.
And it's Anthony with the jam. Well, Clark, a clear line to the basket and the emphatic jam.
And that is outstanding attacking basketball.
Well, he had no choice but to take that one to the bucket.
They grabbed their own miss. And so he earns a trip to the line. Officials saw the contact, and he'll shoot 2.
The offense just getting right to the rim, but at least they saved the layup with the foul.
That's old school basketball rules. I mean, at the end of the day, no easy layup. Earn it from the line. Well, for a long time for the New York fans, going to see a Knicks game was an exercise in masochism, but they've turned it around in a big way, and now this is a tough place to play for a road team.
Leno Udrich, who's checked in for New York. Here's Udrich. And J.R. Smith with the slam.
Phenomenal alley-oop slam right there, guys.
They're taking advantage, Clark, of a team that looks lost out there.
Yeah, this is threatening to get kind of ugly out here.
Smith for 3. 2 seconds separating the shot clock and game clock. Here's Monte Yunus. Offensive struggles continue, missing again. Smith, the pass to World Peace. Goes up. Oh, get it!
Well, they had a pretty good grasp of the game plan coming into this one. That's been very apparent.
And anytime a team gets a double-digit lead in the first quarter, Steve, you could be headed for blowout city.
For 3, Smith. The first quarter concludes, and a tussle stats for the Knicks.
Boy, their frenetic defense has really been impressive, putting a lot of pressure on ball handlers and turning them over.
You know, another factor in their offense so far has been their ability to convert and score off turnovers.
And Doris Burke has a report for us from the sideline.
Hey, Kevin, everybody knows that Dwight Howard this offseason decided to leave the Lakers and join the Houston Rockets. And while there's less guaranteed money, because the contract is for 4 years instead of 5, Howard actually makes over $1 million more per year with the Rockets. The reason? There's no income taxes in the state of Texas. So, guys, the move to Houston may make sense from both a basketball and a financial perspective.
Seems like a good fit. Thanks, Doris.
You know, during last season, Melo said that he felt the team they had in place was talented enough to compete with anybody. I agree with him, and that might be the first time in his career that was the case. He had a team that he was that confident in.
That's good. It's Udrich with the assist that time. 6 points for Carmelo Anthony.
Man, a gaping hole in the defense that time, and he didn't waste any time getting through it.
Monunis kicks to Harden. Into Smith. And a foul called on the shot. Got him on the way up that time, so he'll shoot two right here. And for Anthony and the Knicks, they weathered their share of injuries but remain one of the top teams in the East in the regular season.
And for Anthony, Kevin, it's got to be nice to play in New York where he was born. It's helped bring this Knicks franchise back to prominence.
Catching up on the changes for Houston. Dwight Howard, he's checked in for Monunis. Chandler Parsons comes in for Francisco Garcia. And it's Jeremy Lin in for James Harden. And it's out of bounds. The Knicks will take it the other way.
Man, I don't know what happened right there. He just basically walked out of bounds.
Omer Ashe, he's checked in for Smith.
What's interesting for me to watch with Mike Woodson as head coach in New York is the exciting floor spacing offense they started playing last season. In Atlanta, he'd been known for a grinded out isolation play style, but has actually tweaked his approach a little bit, and that's been impressive.
And back to Mike Woodson, not a flashier, high-maintenance type of personality. He keeps it on the level, and I think, Steve, the players appreciate that.
Players definitely like that. He's very quiet on the sidelines, but not afraid to get in your face.
And we're now about a minute and a half into the second quarter. Outside, Lin. He kicks to Howard. Stolen by Bargnani. Here's Udrih, and it's blocked by Lin. Tries again. Here's Shumpert. Soft touch off the glass. Shumpert's got 5.
Really not hard to see why they're giving up points on this run. I mean, they've just given them too many looks inside.
Yeah, I mean, they're just getting pounded in there. The defense not offering much resistance. They've got to force the ball back out to the perimeter.
And it's sent back by Howard. And it's Houston on the break. Beverly to halt the run. And that comes off the assist by Dwight Howard. He's got 5. The Knicks leading by 18.
You know, if you're in a fight to get into the playoffs out west like the Rockets were last season, you have to make sure you get it.
Did better in that regard. And the Rockets were full of scoring potential, and I think just happened to catch teams in the East off guard a little bit.
Bargnani dishes to Smith. Kicks it out to Bargnani. And that one goes long.
I thought he'd make that one. And that's his range, and the defense nowhere to be seen.
Tries to save it. And Udrih with a clear path to the hoop. Lays it in off the breakaway. And the Knicks lead by 20.
Boy, they are just destroying them in the paint.
You could say that again, Steve. The defenders just aren't aggressive enough down low.
Rockets have gotten only one of their first 4 shots in the second quarter to drop. Down low, here's Hasek. Uses the glass to finish the layup.
You know, there's no better sign of how efficiently a team is operating than their assist numbers. And theirs are fantastic.
It's just beautiful basketball to watch, Clark.
And in the second quarter, a little under 3.5 minutes played already. And slam dunk by Shumpert.
And how sweet a play was that?
As sweet as it gets. An exquisite pass to set up Clark that beautiful alley-oop dunk.
And it was nice.
Just a gorgeous assist.
Feeds it to Beverly. Houston moving it around. Hasek in the post. Bargnani's there. And Chandler sends it back. Udrih, the pass to Bargnani. And there's the feed to Udrih. Back to Bargnani. Smith takes the assist and lays it in. Pick out the pass nicely. Smith's got 12 points in the game. On its way from Parsons for 2. And that comes off the assist by Dwight Howard. Howard's got 3 assists in the game. New York leading by 20. Outside Shumpert. He feeds it to Smith. Shumpert. Here's Udrih. All sorts of time. Rebound Hasek. Hasek's got 3 rebounds so far in the game.
Well, you know, guys, the Houston fans could be forgiven for not having heard of Omer Ashe when the Rockets signed him as their starting center a season ago. He was a second-round pick out of Turkey in 08, a backup in Chicago, but he's quickly shown himself to be a key piece of this promising young core.
And let's catch up with our sideline reporter, Doris Burke. Doris, over to you.
Gentlemen, for the Houston Rockets, a remarkable rebuild process since 2009. They remained around a 500 team, trading for draft picks and young prospects, preserving cap space, and acquiring the elite talents of James Harden and Dwight Howard. They've become, once again, a contender in the West. Kevin, this is a young team poised to make some real noise.
The story of the offseason, no question. Thank you, Doris. And you have to give the Rockets credit for going after Ashik, a player who never averaged more than 15 minutes a game with Chicago, a restricted free agent with the Bulls, and became a very important part for the Rockets.
Well, they clearly saw something special with Ashik. He's a great rebounder and defender, uses his body, understands angles, and plays that verticality really well as a defensive center. And as rebounders go, guys, he is amazingly active on the boards, relentless. And it serves two purposes. One, I mean, it gets him a lot of rebounds, of course, but two, it takes a lot of toll on the opposition. He'll wear you down.
Steve, another signature part of his game is the way he runs the pick and roll. He gets so many easy baskets that way. It's a play they should run for him as often as they can.
Good on the second free throw.
You know, after losing Jeremy Lin going into last season, guys, I think some fans were concerned that the team might slip back to isolation basketball and their offense would stagnate, but instead they flourished as a three-point shooting team.
That one goes. Count it. Howard's got his second bucket.
Now there's something for the top 10 highlight reel right there. A layup can be just as sweet and as pretty as a dunk sometimes.
Felton kicks to Anthony. Passes it to Smith. Back to Anthony. And again, it's the Knicks missing. And through the first half, a pretty lopsided affair. Knicks out front, up 19.
12 points, and he's knocked down a pair of three-pointers in this game, too.
Well, they might want to think about setting a few more screens for him to try to give him another open look or two.
That's going to be over and back. Not watching for the line that time.
Boneheaded play, guys. Plain and simple.
Yep, brain fade is what I like to call it. There's no way they're getting out of the hole making mistakes like that.
Felton kicks to Anthony. Dishes to Bargnani. That one falls, coming off Anthony's feet. Bargnani's got the first field goal of the second half for the Knicks. Harden outside. Pass to Asha. And a foul on the shot. He'll go to the strike for two. That one's on Anthony.
Houston found their way back into the playoffs last season, but really it wasn't because they were a tough team on the road. They only had 16 wins away from Houston last season.
And Clark, as you were talking about, the Rockets weren't nearly as troublesome to teams last year when they found themselves in the away locker room. Mostly, Steve, it came down to their offense not having quite as much punch.
Well, most teams don't score as much on the road as they do at home, but for the Rockets, 5 points differential between home and away. It's pretty dramatic, and I think that was one of the reasons why we saw them struggle when they left Houston and tried to get a win.
Back to Parsons. Houston moving it around. Rejected by Felton. 3-on-3. Kicks it to Chandler. And he drops it in from the low post. Chandler's got 5 points so far.
And their offense is flowing. It's clicking right now at the beginning of the second half. They've made 3 of their first 4 attempts.
On its way from Parsons for 2. He drains the quick shot. Right around a minute and a half played here in the third quarter. Time call here. The Knicks decide to talk it over.
Conference, and the Knicks were one of them. When you have talent like this team does, it doesn't really matter where your opponent is from because you're going to be able to compete.
Here's Felton. Smooth as silk on the finger roll. He's got 9.
Everything's going right now. 4 for 5 shooting, 80%. They got their offense clicking.
Well, Clark, as you mentioned, the Knicks against the West, when you have the offensive capabilities from deep that they did, you know, Steve, you're never really out of the game.
Yeah,
you should know.
Well, they could just shoot their way back into games very easily, and that's what they did a lot of times against some of those teams in the West. But you have to play well against the West if you want to win your division, and the Knicks were able to do that last year.
Out of bounds. Houston takes possession.
Well, he just didn't make the catch. Didn't look the ball into his hands. He must have thought the ball was going somewhere else.
Timeout called the Rockets.
You know, when you get an influx of talent through the draft like the Rockets did prior to last season, the initial reaction is excitement, but then you think about, man, how are we going to get these guys ready to play NBA basketball? And the Rockets did a nice job by taking it easy and bringing them along slowly.
In low to Howard. Chandler with the steal. Outside jumper. Now the pass to Bargnani. It's good from long range. Bargnani's got 5. And for the Rockets, you look at how that strategy worked out for them, and it was exactly what they needed. Got off to a quick start last year. And, you know, Steve, toward the end, their rookies were fresh and able to contribute when it mattered most.
You know, Kevin, it's hard for fans to see a player get drafted and not immediately see the floor, but a lot of times that's the best route. You know, you give a player time to adjust, you make him earn it, and by the end of the season, he can be a very effective player. I think plenty of the Rockets players proved that last season.
Another miss by Houston.
And they've been off target now on 3 of the first 4 shots they've taken in this second half.
That'll increase their rebounding bank. They've definitely been winning that battle on the board.
Well, the main thing is they haven't allowed many second chance opportunities, and that is always going to allow you to maintain your lead.
The Knicks making a switch here. Stoudemire's checked in. Felton with the ball, and it's Lin picking him up. And there's a whistle. That goes on Jeremy Lin. That's foul number 2 for him. And the Knicks making a change here. World Peace is checked in. That 3 off the mark.
Well, Meta can still give you some points when he plays, but I think his days of being an effective scorer are gone. He never really was a high percentage shooter, but now he stays right around that 40% mark.
And that one's good. Shumpert.
Guys, good job working it down low and getting the high percentage look there. That's good basketball.
Lin kicks to Harden. He dishes it to Howard. Stolen by World Peace. And now the Knicks on the break. Anthony leading the charge. Here's Shumpert. Gets it to go. Shumpert's got 6 here in this quarter. And for Meta, never really known for his offensive talents, but he was a reliable contributor, Clark, on the offensive end for most of his career. As you said, that seems to be in the past now.
You know, that's not to say he still can't come up with a big shot every so often, but there was a time he could be a second or third option in the offense. I think those days are in the rearview mirror.
Now more of a specialty player.
I agree.
Now the dish to Usher. It's tipped. Stolen by World Peace. And a fast break now for New York. Anthony defended by Parsons. And Anthony gets it to go. And what's your take, guys, in the hustle stats for the Knicks?
Boy, defensively, they've played with a high energy level, guys, and all the steals we've seen, really a result of that aggressiveness.
Something else they've done is force a lot of mistakes defensively. And they've been turning those turnovers into points.
And the shot is good. And that's now 11 points for Raymond Felton.
You know, they're being very one-dimensional right now, going to the post every time. But if it works, you don't need another dimension.
Well, they're taking this defense to task, quite honestly. Every one of their last 10 points have come in the paint. Physically, there's no doubt they've been the stronger team. That plus 10 rebound advantage tells you all you need to know.
Yeah, not to mention what it says on the scoreboard. I mean, they're really pushing them around physically at this point.
Here's World Peace. Kept alive by New York. 59 seconds left here in the third quarter. He passes to Stoudemire. Howard with the block. They really want to find that igniter here.
Yeah, that's right. Kevin, the offense has basically been running in place.
They got to get going. New York's gone to the three-pointer 11 times tonight, nailed 5 of them. Stoudemire with the bucket.
So nice to have a guy like that. He can take charge at any time.
Yeah, so many of his passes, Steve, have led directly to baskets.
Asik lays it in without an inch of room around him. Asik's got 6 points.
Good job there recognizing the mismatch and then just going straight up with the shot. He's got a major height advantage.
Here's Stoudemire. The shot is off. And Houston the other way now. Parsons outside. Back to Lin. A baseline J. It's rebounded by New York. And a fast break now for New York. The dunk and the foul, a powerhouse move, and he's got a chance for one more at the line. It goes on Chandler Parsons.